Hey, it's me, your favorite artist you're obviously subscribed to, and welcome to Critiquing Your Art Part 2. I know it's a little bit, but I will only be critiquing 3 of your guys' art. The reason being is that it's super hard to think of critiques that aren't, oh, you used too much airbrush tool, oh, the anatomy looks weird here, oh, use better colors. I've already talked way too much about all that stuff, fixing anatomy, hard shadows, and whatnot. I was trying to find art pieces that had unique problems that could still help a majority of people out. If you want me to talk about common problems like those, then just watch the last critiquing art video. So once again, I apologize for not doing a lot of critiques this time around, but I just don't want to keep saying the same stuff over and over again. Anyways, to remind you, please don't make fun of these people's art. If you have a critique to share, share it respectfully. Don't make it into a joke like, haha, his neck looks broken. Yeah, thank you. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is literally the first game to bring a true console level experience to your phone. They've set the bar too high for the mobile gaming industry. The newest addition to Raid and my personal favorite is legendary champion from High Elves faction, Deliana. Deliana is one of the strongest support champions in the entire game. She possesses some great skill sets and abilities which will be helpful for all players no matter what stage of the game you are in. Raid's currently running a special Deliana chase event where you can get the amazing Deliana just by logging in. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and July 28th and you'll get Deliana for free. That's it. Deliana can be unlocked by all players. And the gifts just keep on coming. All new players just enter the promo code MyDeliana to get your hands on everything. Simple. Get 50 XP brews to instantly get your legendary hero Deliana to max level 50, as well as a ton of silver. And on top of that, Raid's running a huge series of summer splash events for the whole month, where you can get your hands on some incredible skins for everyone's favorite dwarf, Trunda. Click my link in the description or scan my QR code here, and you'll get unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion Aina, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard. All this treasure will be waiting for you in Raid Shadow Legends. Okay, so our first drawing here is by the Epic Cookie. Now, this drawing is of an original character and they're pointing their bow and arrow at the viewer. The composition of this drawing is super wonderful and I love it so much. But there are 3 things that I want to talk about that kind of throw this drawing a little bit off. So the first thing I want to talk about is the awkwardness of the line art color in some places. So the first place I want to talk about is this bow and arrow string. This bow and arrow string for the drawing is super important. It's something that the character is interacting with, and it's something that like shows that this character is using the bow. Now the thing is that this light brown is very hard to see and it kind of blends in with your character's color. So you can barely kind of see the string. It kind of like reduces the importance of that string. So it feels kind of awkward, you know? So to fix this, make that line art color of the string black, because black is super bold and it is super noticeable. And that string, since it's very thin, needs to be super noticeable. Unlike your character, who, you know, there's so many things that show that it's your character, this string is barely just 1 line, all right? And to make that 1 line really stand out, I would make that line art color black, so, you know, it stands out. Secondly, what I want to talk about is how the line art color feels too light in some places. Now, some examples are like right here, where the line art right here is lighter than the color that's inside of it. So like the color inside here is black, and then the color over here is light brown. This kind of makes it feel a little off. So what I recommend doing is either you can like use a black, or an easier way is to set your line art to multiply, so then you don't really have to go over every line that's darker and fix it. You could just set it to multiply, and then the multiply layer will automatically check the color underneath it and make it a darker version of that color. You could also see it here in the eyelashes that the color of the line art is lighter than the eyelashes themselves. So like the line art color is like a light brown and then the eyelashes are black. It kind of makes it feel super off. And so what I would just do is either make the line art black or set the line art to multiply. Lastly, you should fix the line art for white colors. Your like light brown, in my experience, doesn't really look well with it. And considering that you're using cool colors to like shade it, like over here, it feels really weird that you're using like a light brown to line art it. What I would do is I would just keep using this light blue cool color that you're using to line art white, because since you're shading it like with cool tones like over here, you should just probably use a cool line art color. All right, so the second thing I do want to also talk about is the placement of the eyes. The placement of the eyes are way too low. They should be like around the level of these eyebrows here, because right here is the middle of your head. In average anatomy, the eyes are always placed in the middle of the head, and this is way below the middle of the head. So it's just an easy fix. All you have to do is grab your eyes and then move them up to the middle of the head, because the eyes should always be, on average, in the middle of the head. And then lastly, I want to talk about the anatomy of the ear. So what's weird to me is that it looks like you tried everywhere, all right? This entire image just feels like you tried super hard. And then we come to the ear, and the ear doesn't really feel detailed at all. You didn't draw any of like the insides of it or anything. It just kind of feels, you know, not finished. So I don't really know what happened there. I don't really have any other advice than to just draw like at least the inside of it. So like ways you can, like, there's a bunch of styles you could do. So like you can do just something simple like that, or something that I do is that I do this. Just anything, all right? You can draw anything. And then also I want to talk about the placement of the ear. Is that for some reason it looks like it connects to the back of the neck. This right here should be connected to this part of the jawline. So basically what you have is this. Now, of course, I don't have to tell you why this is pretty weird. It looks like the neck is, or like the ear is connected to the back of the neck. I would suggest either moving it or making sure that it connects to the back of the jawline, because that is where the ear is placed, at the back of the jawline. And then you could fix all your other stuff. But just make sure that this ear is being connected to this part right here. That's really all the critiques I have. Overall, this is a very nice piece, and I really think that those are the only issues that you have with this drawing. If you just fix that, I swear everything will look perfect. Alright, next up on our list, we have this beautiful drawing by CruzVoo297. This is Genshin Impact fan art, I think, and I don't know who character this is, but Yilan, I'm guessing. This drawing is amazing, all right? This is probably like one of the most beautiful drawings I've ever seen. But the thing is that I feel like I'm missing something. Like, your character, amazing. The environment, amazing. But I feel like you could have done more to make the character feel more in the environment. And I'm going to show you a couple examples of what you can do to like fix that, all right? So let's go back to my tablet. I don't really like fixing artists' drawings because that kind of feels disrespectful, but I'm going to do it right now with the excuse of that I'm helping you. All right, so obviously there's a lot of lighting in the background, and the character itself doesn't feel like they're being affected by that lighting. So it kind of feels like they're not really in that environment or being affected by it. So something super easy you can do to fix that problem right away is to cover your entire character in the gradient of this background. So what you can do pretty much is, let's take a gradient brush, take this bottom color or this top color and fill that entire canvas with that color, and then take the bottom color and then put it up here, and then clip this gradient onto your character, so then it'll look like this. There's some empty spaces, but I'll get into that later. Because then if you do this, then that character's color scheme will feel like it's being affected by the lighting of that environment. So affect it to like change it how much you want to. Set this to multiply, by the way. And then this character will now feel like they're in that environment, because previously, you know, the skin color was just a regular peach, but now it's being affected by that blue all over the environment. So that's like a pretty basic way of, you know, getting your character to feel like they're in the environment. Another thing that I feel like your character lacks is like depth lighting. What I mean by that is that it's clear that your character is in a top-down view perspective, which means like it's their head and then their chest, and then that chest is covering over here. So to really like sell that feeling, I would add also another one of these multiply layers all down here. So do that same exact thing I said, but don't do it for this top half of the drawing. Just do it for this bottom half. Because now it feels like that bottom half is being covered by that top half. So now that depth is kind of showing more. Now, of course, adjust it to how your preferences. And then, as you can see now it feels like the character, all her bottom half is being covered by the top half. So now we're selling that top-down view perspective more. And this is a pretty easy way to, like, you know, add more dynamic depth and lighting to your character that matches with the environment. Now, at this point, like, you can play around with anything. You can add different effects and stuff. But I'm going to show you a pretty basic one that I do, that I love doing, all right? So pretend there is a giant white light right here shining the back of your character, all right? It's just hitting all over the back of your character. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shading brush, white, take an add glow layer, and just add a white rim all to the back of your character. All to the back. So as you can see, I'm going to overlay it with red just so you see where I added this at. I added this white rim layer all over the back of her. So I'm going to undo that. So now it feels like the back of her is being shined by like an environmental lighting in the background, like one of the white stars, let's say. And then to make this color like transition in nicely with the actual character, as you can see, it's kind of like a little bit harsh. It's like white and then immediately like her skin or her hair color. We're going to add something called subscattering. I think that's what it is. And I'm going to show you right here what that layer looks like. It's not really that noticeable for some reason. So I'm going to color it red just so you can see where it is. So where it is that it's on the border of where the white light and then the actual character like meet. So as you can see over here. And then I also added it over here. I don't think you can see it though. I added it on the border where the shadow and the light parts meet. And then I should have added it over here. I don't know why there's none over here. So I am also going to add it over here. Just so that white glow then transitions nicely into the default color. So now I'm going to fix these colors. And I'm using very saturated colors to do this, by the way, just so that it feels more vibrant. And then I'm going to set this to glow dodge, and then I'm going to edit it to where I feel like is the most comfortable for me. So I'm going to say like about there. So now it feels like that white glow layer is transitioning nicer into the actual coloring of the drawing. Let me edit these values a little bit. Okay. And then to make this effect really feel super nice, we're going to add something called bloom, which is this. Ooh, wow, super nice looking. I'm going to, once again, normal and add red to it so you can see what I did. So this layer, what's so important is that it's not clipped onto the character. It is instead on top of like all the drawing. And what I did was I took an airbrush tool and just like, I added this effect over all the white edges. So what this does is that it makes that light feel like it's scattering. And then I'm going to set it to add glow and then edit the value. It feels like that, it makes it feel like that light is scattering more so that it feels like super nice looking. I don't know. I can't explain to you how light works. I could just explain to you that it looks nice. So adding that scattering light makes the drawing feel a little bit more nice. So now with all these effects in place, we went from the character just kind of looking like default lighting in a very cool environment to now the character just having this dynamic lighting in this dynamic environment. So now it feels like the character is actually in the, you know, environment itself. If you don't really enjoy these effects, that's fine, all right? If you enjoy having the character just have default lighting in the environment, there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like that your art could really be exponentially look good with these lighting effects. So yeah, that's my only critique. I feel like if you just like play around with lighting and adding it to your characters, I feel like it can make your art look so much more nice. Not that it already isn't nice, but you understand what I mean. Next, we have this really cute drawing by Tomato Jam 26. As you can see, she has like a little ghost girl and there's a lot of purple effects going on. The one super major thing I want to talk about is the overuse of the neon purple that you're using. It's not bad that you're using it, but there needs to be a limited amount of it that you're showing on the screen. Because when I look at your picture, it just kind of hurts my eyes in a non-offensive way. So, as you can see here, I'm going to show your character a little bit. I'm going to take some of the colors that you have present on here. We have this purple, this very neon purple, and then let's say we have a black like this. So let's say this is our color scheme, okay? This is our accent color, which is the color we want to show the least amount so that it pops out the most. And then these two are our normal colors, the ones that are easy to look at because they're not oversaturated. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that these two colors are the ones being used the most, and that there's only a limited selection of these two colors, because these two colors tend to pop out more when they're the ones being used the least. This oversaturated, very oversaturated color. So then your drawing will look nicer, because if you have too much of this accent color, so let's say like wee 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 wee, and then let's say we want to make it glow. If we have too much of that neon color, then it becomes less special technically, and it kind of just starts to hurt to look at. That's kind of what's going on here. There's too many purple effects and too much of the color, the neon color being used, that it just kind of hurts the eyes. So going back to your drawing, I would just pick one or two things that I would keep that glow. So either the hat and the ring down here, or the glowing object in the hand and the hat, or the thing in the hand and this thing. Just keep one or two, because if you have too much effects like this going on, then the accent color starts to feel less special, and it just kind of hurts the eyes, you know? There's just so much going on that it kind of hurts to look at. Okay, so kind of to show how this effect kind of works, I'm going to set this color to, I'm gonna tonal correction it. I'm gonna take away the saturation and I'm gonna darken it. So let's say this is just our neutral canvas, all right? We're just using these two colors right here and nothing else. We need to use our accent color like very limitedly so that our viewers' eyes are more attracted to where it's being drawn towards. So let's set this to color. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. So let's say we want our viewer to look at the girl's eyes or the face, all right? So as we can see, using this accent color to kind of hover over the character's face, now you want to take a look at the character's face, all right? Since everything is so neutral, that accent color is really helping point out to where we want the viewer to look at. Now imagine I took this accent color and I just kind of slapped it everywhere. Now it doesn't really look so pleasing to look at. Are you catching my drift? Use this accent color in very limited ways. Use it to draw the viewer's attention towards her face, the thing in her hand, her glowing hat, whatever. Just make sure to not use it everywhere at the same time. And that's all the critiques I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it, even if there wasn't too many. I didn't want to rehash the same anatomy, color stuff from last time, so I hope that you found these critiques to be different. Anyways, check out my Patreon for useful art stuff. Like the video if you liked it, share the video if you found it useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.